Hi, how are you? Hi. Hi, how are you? I hope you're doing well. So, when it comes to making videos, I can't just sit down and start talking to the camera. I mean, I can, but I get into way too many tangents that lead me to other tangents to the point where I'm having a completely different conversation and I forget what it is that I was talking about in the first place. These last couple of weeks, I've noticed that when I sit down to try and write out the points that I want to make, I constantly turn to YouTube to find inspiration and to see how other people talk about the things that interest them. And when I'm watching their videos, I get all of these different ideas about how I would have done it if it were me, from the font to the music to the editing style, basically every element that there is in video production, how I would have gone about it if it were my video. But then what follows is a flooding of other thoughts like, you can't amount to this. The way they did it is better. Even if your idea were any good, you don't have the capacity to execute it. And why would you? They already made a video talking about this topic. Why would you? You're just copying them. And so when I sit down at my desk and I look at the blank Google Doc, I get in my head and I have all of these different thoughts, ultimately to say, never mind, let me just talk about something else. And so the cycle repeats. I realize that in trying to make videos that I enjoy creating and that other people might enjoy watching, I'm constantly comparing myself to the works that other people have done that have already achieved that goal. And when I took a step back, I see that I do that in pretty much everything. When you think about it, we compare ourselves to others in virtually every facet of our life, from the amount of friends that we have to how much money we make, who has the better phone, who's more fit, who has a better family, and everything else that you could possibly think of. There seems to always be this part of us, whether conscious or unconscious, that sees what we have and don't have and sees how we compare to others. In every interaction, it seems as though we're constantly in this unspoken competition, being measured and measuring ourselves, even when we'd rather not participate. And I find this weird because even though this is something you know you might not like or want, you can't stop others from doing the same thing. For example, your parents might bring up the fact that you're different from your siblings, or a friend of yours might tell you that you're different from another friend. I was just talking to my sister the other day in her room and I saw that there was this crocheted blanket on her bed. And so when I asked her where she got it from, she was like partly upset because she said a friend gave it to her. And she was a bit upset because she said, yes, the blanket is cool. She likes that her friend made something for her, but she's also had an interest in crochet for a while, and so she knows that if she were to pick it up now, some people might say that she's copying her friend. And I found that interesting because I could relate to that. I can see this comparison between friends, especially in the same circle. And so it's interesting to see how even from a younger age, we're all cognizant of the fact that I'm different, I'm unique, I am myself, and so are you. And so if I were to pick up an interest that is similar to the ones that you have, we're now entering this comparing game. Why is speaking so weird when you're looking at a camera? It's like you're so self-conscious of every muscle that your face is moving. I don't know. But when you think, for some reason, people comparing people is something we have built into us by default. And that in and of itself is not a bad thing. I think that to compare is this neutral instinct that we have developed over the years to become better versions of ourselves. And we do this every day, especially in today's world, being bombarded with a plethora of choices, like how to spend our free time, for example. It makes sense to want to look at the benefits and drawbacks of every single one of our choices to see which one is the best option for us. And yes, this might go for which Airbnb to rent or what to eat for lunch, but it also applies when comparing ourselves to others. Say you're thinking about joining a gym and you see people of all different body types. You can look to people with these big muscles and lift this crazy weight as a role model for motivation and inspiration. That is an upward comparison. Now, fast forward a couple of months, you know your way around the gym, you know how the machines work, and you can follow a workout routine without having to look up the exercises. And you see from the corner of your eye someone who is about to sign up and do their first day at the gym. You can look at them and see how far you've come. This is a downward comparison. And it seems that it doesn't matter who it is or what it's about, we can't stop comparing. I think that since no matter what we do, we can't stop comparing, it makes more sense to embrace it and learn how to make it work for us rather than against us. But how can I do that, Jose? I have two suggestions. The first is to compare yourself to your goals. I don't know how else to word that, so just follow me here. Oftentimes when we compare ourselves to others, it's because we see something in them that we lack and want for ourselves. So for example, I might see how so-and-so looks and feel some type of way, or see them with an iPhone that I really want, or hear through the grapevine or social media that they got into this master's program at some prestigious university. It's not that I want to look the way that so-and-so does, I just want to feel comfortable in my own skin. And it's not that I want the newest iPhone, but rather I want the financial security that comes from being able to afford the newest and best phone. And no, I don't want to go back to school and get my master's. I want to feel proud of my own achievements. The next time you notice something someone has that you want for yourself, rather than feeling bad about not having it, use that as motivation to become a person worthy of having that thing. Next is to compare yourself to yourself. Allow yourself to have the perspective of where you are now compared to where you were some time ago. Because you might feel upset in the day-to-day when you don't see the needle move, but you'll immediately change your way of thinking when you compare that to where you were 2 years ago, for example. Bro, 2 years ago, I was literally walking around my university campus with this thing being a thought in my head. And sin embargo, like there was this guy that I went to high school with, an acquaintance, who would put on social media, I remember this like it was yesterday. He put on social media like, oh, I just uploaded a vlog onto YouTube. And I would be such a hater. I watched that video and I thought to myself like, oh, this video is so long for no reason. He should have cut out this part where he was just like stuttering all the time. This bit doesn't even make any sense. That part wasn't even funny. And keep in mind, like I haven't even posted a single thing. 2 years ago, I was so worried about people knowing that I was thinking about wanting to make content, much less actually trying. And now I have almost 1,000 subscribers, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things. If you look at your homepage, you're gonna see YouTubers who have channels whose numbers are higher than mine. I know that. And I can get upset that I don't have 100,000 subscribers and I don't have thousands of views per video, that I don't have the proof that what I'm doing is yielding a result. But I could take pride in the fact that 2 years ago, I had 0 subscribers because I didn't have a channel at all. And this is just my example, but you can draw parallels to your life as well. Compare yourself to how you were 2 years ago. That way, even on the days where you don't feel as though you're advancing, you can see that today is still a win, and that is something worth celebrating. Anyways, that is it from me, but what about you? What do you think? Do you have an issue with constantly comparing yourself to others? Is there anything in particular that you do to avoid having that ruin your self-esteem or motivation? Please let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you. As always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your day, wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Okay? Okay. Goodbye.